So I think it's pretty well established by now that SEO is a core of the internet. Search engines basically can't function without it. But so much has changed in the Web3 world with new blockchain implementations popping up all the time that it raises a really important question. Because of all of these different ways of doing things, can SEO actually survive in the new web? Or is it about to become another one of those things that we just read about in history books? So today I'm going to answer that question by showing you how it works and what you should expect now and in the future for Web3 SEO. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a Web3 marketing strategist, and this is the best place for you to learn about Web3, NFTs, and how to market it all. So that sounds good to you and you're excited. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment to let me know how this SEO setup of the future is making you feel. I would love to get your thoughts on kind of how it is now for you and how that's looking in the future and whether you're more worried about it, less worried about it, etc. And let's get started. So let's get straight into the question here. Is SEO about to die? I mean, Web3 is changing a lot about the way that the internet works. The blockchain has introduced this whole new way for data to move around. Decentralization is moving users into less populated parts of the web.
It's too quiet.
And frankly, all of these changes are making it harder for traditional SEO techniques to continue working. But on the flip side, it's also important to keep in mind that SEO isn't some stagnant force that's always been the same. It has to be an ever-changing thing if search engines want to continue to provide high-quality results, which is the whole point of SEO in the first place, right? Google, for instance, is trying to determine the best content to put forward for a search, and they use search engine optimization to make that determination. So all of that considered, do we think SEO is about to die in this new blockchain Web3 world of the internet? No, I don't think so. Because as I just mentioned, SEO is an ever-changing force, right? People seem to think that it's this big, scary beast that's difficult or even impossible to master. But at the end of the day, SEO is just about understanding a set of rules and how those rules apply to whatever platform you're working with, which means that understanding on a basic level the needs of that organization that you're SEOing for, that you're trying to get in front of, is very important. So for example, Google, right? I mean, we're always talking about Google. When we talk about building web pages to be found on Google, we have to ask a very important question. What is Google's goal? Google wants to be and remain the world's search engine, and they're not going to stay that way if they just start providing results people aren't looking for. That sounds like a simple prospect, right? But it's a constant back and forth because you want your website to show up first, right? Which means that there are always new ways of manipulating the system to allow people to bubble their websites up. The same dynamic is true for any Web3 and blockchain-based system. Those systems are trying to provide the right information, and you are trying to make sure yours is the source that they are looking for as a search engine like Google. However, it's also important to keep in mind that even though the world is moving quickly towards a Web3 future, a lot of that Web 2 infrastructure is going to remain. We only build on top of the great successes we've already had, right? So it's very unlikely that we're ever going to stop needing search engines. The search engine of choice might change for people, but the basic need to search to find things is always going to exist. But again, just because it isn't dying doesn't mean it's going to stay the same. It's an ever-changing beast. So in order to set you up to understand these changes, I think we need to just sprint through a quick primer for how SEO works, and then we're going to talk about how you can use it for your Web3 business. So SEO is made up of three parts: document relevancy, technical optimization, and clout. So document relevancy is a fancy term for keywords. Google is looking at the keywords on your page, those keywords that you've implemented into your text, and trying to decide if things that the page is discussing have anything to do with the results of the person who typed in the search, right? So if I type in shoes, I don't want to be getting pages about giraffes, right? We want to be getting pages on shoes if we type in shoes, right? Simple example. But this is where a lot of that focus comes into not only, you don't want to stuff keywords. That's not a good practice. Google already knows that that happens, and so they discount pages who do that. So you're looking for fitting those keywords naturally inside the page to drive traffic from those searches that are highest, so most people are looking for it, that are also the easiest to win on, meaning that not many other marketers are trying to win on those keywords, okay? So that's a really important point. That's kind of how keyword marketing works. Next is technical optimization, which effectively just means that your site needs to be running fast enough. So you can use a site like GTmetrix to run a speed test on your URL, and that site is going to tell you exactly what needs to change to improve your site speed. That's really all there is to it. Google doesn't want to serve slow pages.
It's too slow.
And finally, clout is Google looking at the rest of the web and trying to determine who is sending links to your page. So why do we care about this? Google wants to see that other pages that it already trusts, that have already been well established in their SEO system, are also sending links to your page, so that those highly trusted pages are saying, I trust this page too. So if you have a bunch of links coming in from Joe's Link Farm or something, those are going to be low quality links. Nobody really trusts that page. They know it's just a link farm. Google is aware of that, okay? So those are not going to be considered high quality. If you're getting links from Forbes and Business Insider or OpenSea or something like that, that's a higher quality link. You're more likely to get pushed up in the rankings because of those high quality links, okay? So that's a basic primer for all three of those different elements. Now let's get into the Web3 stuff. So if we're trying to capture a Web3 audience, it is really vital that we find them where they are, which first means that we need to appear in blockchain related searches. The blockchain itself just isn't searchable in the same way as marketers understand it today. It's a bunch of code, it's a bunch of contracts and addresses, and unless you understand what you're doing, it's not really going to be enormously helpful, which means that because most people who are getting involved in the Web3 space don't really understand that highly technical side of it, it's not going to be helpful for them either. So there's no point in you trying to market there or trying to appear there at all anyway, right? So it's kind of useless for many reasons, which means that until a Web3 platform really explodes into the mainstream, we're largely left with very similar techniques to what we've seen before, but with a little twist. So for instance, keywords. Yes, you need to locate keywords and you can continue to use the typical sources for that. For example, you can go to SEMrush and type in blockchain bakery and see what the results are. But because this is a niche market and you likely have a strong understanding of what that niche is because you're here, it may serve you better to go to the places that are already serving your audience and pull the keywords directly from them. So for instance, you know that DTube and Steemit are well-respected social networks in decentralized spaces. And if you don't, you can check out this video here for more detail on decentralized social media to catch up there a bit. So let's say that you're preparing to compete with DTube. You can go to DTube and you can use something like Mangul's Site Profiler plugin to pull the keywords from the site. Now, I cannot claim that these keywords alone by themselves are amazing. Most of them might not even apply to you. They might be like branding keywords or something. But what you can do next is go to KW Finder, plug in those keywords that actually apply to your situation, and then see what the related results are. That's where you're going to find the meat. Now, what you're looking for when you do this is a good mixture of high search volume and low difficulty score, because you want keywords that everyone is searching for, but that it's also easy to reach the top of the rankings with, right? So you want to compile this list of keywords. You want to find the right solutions, looking at those two metrics and how they balance, and then plug them into your content. And you can take that similar approach with your backlinking efforts as well. Find the places that are crypto and blockchain related and use those tried and true methods to build that traffic back. You can check out something like CoinScribble as a great place to get started with this. So that's what you can do with Google. And I think we can more or less say that we've seen a lot of these techniques before. You can watch this video if you want more details about SEO more generally, but it's also important to step away from the idea that Google is the only player in the game. Is it the majority of the web traffic today? Absolutely no question, but more decentralized opportunities are coming, so it's really important that we touch on those a little bit in this video. SEO is no longer just about what your website does and how it presents itself to search engines. Social signals are a powerful way to drive SEO traffic as well, but this is a little bit more indirect than some other methods. So you can kind of think of it like backlinking. In a backlink situation, you're finding a high-ranking site and you're using one of any number of methods to get a link placed on that page back onto your site. So that way you have that high profile like we talked about, saying, hey, you can trust this site, okay?
He's the best. He's a good guy.
Well, the more people that are talking about you online, the more clout that you're going to gain. And if backlinking is all about building that clout, so too is becoming popular on social media. It just gets more people to come back into your page. And this creates a huge opportunity for decentralized social media sources, because by building influencers on these platforms, you're effectively driving results to those users' web pages anyway. So just take Mastodon, for instance. They've been exploding in seemingly equal measure to Twitter's implosion, okay? They're gaining huge member numbers, which is driving more posts to the site using more keywords, which in turn gets more attention to other platforms, which drives those websites up as well, since more and more followers are clicking on links inside those posts. It's just kind of a cascading method. And finally, quality. Now, it is no secret that SEO is generally pretty rife with people just trying to game the system. I mean, we've talked about that already in this video. Some of the earliest tricks were people stuffing keywords into metadata or whitewashing keywords, stuff we also already talked about. The problem with these sorts of methods was always that they would drive the page up the rankings, sure, but then everyone is frustrated. The website owner is frustrated because they aren't converting those visitors into purchasers. The user is frustrated because they came to a page and they didn't find anything topical for their search. And the search engine is frustrated because they aren't providing good quality results. And so under Web3, quality is a factor that's being taken under consideration as well. So this is a little bit more in the future. It's the near future, but it is the future. But it's looking more and more likely that we aren't going to continue to just rely on objective keywords and the opinions of other sites. Search engines are finding ways to analyze the quality of the content as well. And if it's high quality, then you're likely to move up the rankings. Otherwise, do better. So there's a little glimpse into SEO's future and how you can work with it now with Web3. It's not dying. It frankly doesn't even make sense to think of it as something that can die. But in any case, let me know how you're feeling about SEO in this new world. I would love to know. Otherwise, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.